Gratitude is responsible for lowering stress levels, your stress hormones, cortisol, by about 23%. Well, isn't cortisol something that I don't want lower or less of, especially if I'm extremely chronically adrenally fatigued? So we just had Thanksgiving here, and in my family, this is probably one of our most appreciated holidays. And this is because Thanksgiving for us goes beyond thinking about our country and the freedoms and experiences and opportunities we have, but more just setting forth an intention to have a grateful heart, to live with gratitude and realize despite all the complaints, challenges, everyday stressors that we may experience on a regular basis, there's still so much to be thankful for. And when we sit around that table with our family and see all the happy, healthy smiles on their faces and get to fill our bellies with this beautiful meal in the warm home of one of our family members, that feeling of gratitude is instilled even more. The important things are what matters. So today I want to talk to you just very briefly about 3 ways that gratitude adds to your advantage. If you only take brief times to practice gratitude here and there, or tell yourself that I should be grateful, I hope this video encourages you to make this a daily, intentional practice. So the first way that gratitude adds to your advantage is that it actually changes your chemical makeup for the better. It boosts all those happy hormones like dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine makes gratitude or anything that you do extremely rewarding, which makes you happy and more likely to do that again. When you're thinking about life and it's boosting these levels of reward, you start to feel really good and fulfilled by your life. And serotonin is another happy hormone that actually helps regulate and is responsible for sleep. UC Davis also states that gratitude is responsible for lowering stress levels, your stress hormones, cortisol, by about 23%. Now, some of you might say, well, isn't cortisol something that I don't want lower or less of, especially if I'm extremely chronically adrenally fatigued? Yes and no. If you have this big boost of positive hormones, they're actually helping balance those out. And for most of you that are experiencing fatigue and exhaustion, those first levels of adrenal fatigue, level 1, level 2, is actually an overproduction of cortisol levels. So it's high intense stress and your body's standing guard, standing at the ready to be, ready for fight or flight. And to calm those down, to chill the nervous system out, is actually a huge benefit. Gratitude also increases your resilience to stress, anxiety, and adversities. When you can frame things in a positive light and you see things for the benefit or the better side of things, despite the fact that there are negative things going on, this actually improves your ability to deal with stress. Psychology Today states that in 2006, a research by Behavior Research and Therapy found that war vets who experienced gratitude found lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. In 2003, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience following terrorist attacks on September 11th. This is because gratitude allows you to feel positive levels of appreciation despite any challenges or stressors that occur. This is not about suppressing, shoving down, or denying what actually happened and what is. It's about balancing all that stress and negativity instead of reliving that constant trigger that creates tension and anxiety in your life. Lastly, the third way that gratitude is to your advantage is that it helps improve your self-image. When you provide gratitude and warm energy moving forward, you tend to receive that back. Think of the time that you were out in the world and a stranger did something nice, smiled at you, or something that made you want to say, hey, thank you. Or maybe somebody said thank you to you, and that warm energy is shared. When that is reflected back to you, you can only feel good about that person and about yourself. And so the more you give, the more you get. And in turn, it creates a better self-perception of yourself. You also aren't worried about all the stressful things, focusing on the fear-based things like how do people judge me, or how do I look, or how's my hair. Instead, you're saying, oh, I'm so glad this person had this nice conversation with me, or they complimented me, or did something nice for me. Gratitude can change your entire perspective. And while I only covered just a few short things on this list, there are so many more benefits of gratitude that can go on for days. The last thing I wanted to share with you was the best time to practice gratitude. And while any time and all the time is the most ideal, one of the most intentional times I encourage you to practice gratitude is right when you wake up. Before you think of anything, before you get out of bed, stay there in that nice, cozy, resting headspace when your brain levels are moving really slow and your subconscious mind is really open and spongy, and start thinking about all the things that you're grateful for in your life. Think about the things that you were grateful for yesterday. Think of the things that you're grateful for right now. Think of anything and everything that you can just marinate in and feel that gratitude on an emotional level. If you can add this practice to your evening right before you go to bed, right as you drift off to sleep. This is normally like when I start drifting, I start thinking about all the things that I'm grateful for. I start thinking about all the things that are just abundant in my life and all the things that I expect. It puts me in a better headspace, which allows me to sleep better, deeper. I have higher qualities of sleep, and it just feels so good doing this. But a lot of times I try to choose gratitude when I'm having a hard time. If I'm finding a challenge or conflict occur, I try to find space to find gratitude as well. Again, it's a reminder not to suppress feelings or deny what actually is, but it's to bring balance and realize that life as a whole is neither completely negative or completely positive. You have both sides of the coin, and you can indeed feel worried, stressed, frustrated, confused, as well as experience gratitude, appreciation, and understanding as well. You can do both things. And I think oftentimes we don't exercise this enough. When it comes to EQ, emotional maturity, we oftentimes identify with like the biggest key emotion that we're feeling and either shove it away or try to chase a different type. You can actually experience multiple of those things overlapped. And as soon as you can expect this, you realize you kind of move through those emotions quite fluidly. And instead of being anchored to them or feeling tied down by them, they sort of just flow in and out or through. And it just makes dealing with the challenges so much easier. So if you have any other thoughts on gratitude, or hey, want to start an amazing gratitude list, send me a DM, comment on the video, and make sure you share this episode with somebody who could use a little more uplifting and gratitude in their life. Thanks so much for joining me here. I hope you enjoy your holiday if you're in the US, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Hey fam bam, thanks for joining me in today's episode. If you haven't yet, get registered for my free webinar training, Better Energy for a Better Life. You guys voted on this training. I worked really hard to put together some really valuable tips and insight on the fastest way to grow your energy on time, things that you could get started doing right now. So make sure you check out that link and get signed up. Can't wait to see you there.